Today we speak a bit about test automation using Selenium. So let's move on. And our agenda today is introduction to test automation. Then we talk about drawbacks of manual testings, and then when we should use automation, in which cases is better, and then introduction to Selenium, then Selenium components, and in the end we speak about TestNG framework. So let's start from the beginning. So what is test automation? That is any process of when we get some manual test cases and do some scripts by using any automation tool is known as automation. So we can just take any manual test cases and use automation tools. Any automation tools, as you know, it can be a big variety of automation tools like Ghost Inspector, let's say Selenium, and for the mobile devices it's called Appium. So we can write the automation tests. So let's speak about drawbacks of manual testings. All we know that manual testings are doing by people, and people can make mistakes, so it's not so reliable at this point. So we use instead automation when we need test something important for us to substitute a human. So manual testing is time consuming. Yes, when we have a lot of our test cases, we spend a lot of time to this, and it's not so good. And we can talk about manual testing in case when we have one run of some test cases without big repetitions. So it's drawback of manual testing. So let's speak about automation when it needed and the best position of automation tests. So first we have automation tests is suitable in many repetitive tests when we run a lot of the same test cases. Better to use automation tests. So it's the same as second point about regression tests in iteration. When we have a lot of iteration our tests, better to use automation. When we need simulate a lot of users, it's really hard to do it manually because you need a lot of users, and in small company it's hard to do it without your big resources. So for these needs, we use automation tool. And automation tests used when we have already developed application without changes, with stable part of our application or some part of application. So, and when we have a big variety of test cases, it's better to use automation test. And of course, when you have a critical functionality, better use automation test because the mistake can cost really high. So better use test automations that in most cases work reliably. So automation can be done in different variety of application, but today we speak about Selenium. It's one of the most famous uh, automation platform. Some people said that it's just a tool, but official documentation said that it's browser automation framework that um, have a lot of um, commands and tools to communicate with your browser without any problem. They have a lot of um, good tools to do a lot of things like click on button, select element from dropdown, check if a checkbox is filled, and so on. So why Selenium? It's a very nice question because we can use any other tools, but Selenium have great benefits for users because it's open source project. Anyone can just download this tool and easily start your automation. So it's cross-browser compatible. Selenium support, I think, all browsers, um, all known and used by user browsers, let's say, and have great platform compatibility. It is working with Windows, Mac OS, and Linux. One of the benefits that supports multiple programming language, I think the Selenium support almost all languages, programming languages, but there is a bit difference. It Selenium supports JavaScript, but it's a bit shorter version than, for instance, Java or C# or Python. So better to use full version of Selenium if you need all spectrum of its functionality. So the benefit of this automation, of course, save time and money and manual efforts. And of course, the great benefit of Selenium is a big community that support it very good, and you have find answer to your question without any problem. But Selenium have limitation too, that support only web-based application. For mobile development, you should use another tools. But of course, you can use this extension of browser that you can use mobile view, but it's not the same that real device, but it can cover most of the cases that you need. So Selenium can't work with CAPTCHA or barcode, but I think very short list of program can work with it because it's created to stop automation. So I don't know if there is a program that can um, avoid or work with captcha or something like this. And the big problem of Selenium that there is no integrated program that generated some reports. So you should use a third-party application or tool to generate some reports to see the results or something like this. And of course, you should have some level of language knowledge. It's not, I think you should have the basics, but if we talk about the high level automation, you should know a solid language knowledge because you should write a lot of different tool to interact with your automation. So let's speak about Selenium components. We have the Selenium integrated development environment, or just simpler Selenium IDE. To say simpler is just recorded. At the beginning, it's just an extension for Firefox, and you can record your steps, how to do something on your website, and it generates Selenium code that you can use in future automation. But it's okay to use it only in the start level. If you want to create something great, it's not that you need. So the next point is Selenium remote control. It's the first version of Selenium as we know now, but the problem is that you should use remote web server for it. And if we compare with WebDriver, it's WebDriver work locally without any additional servers, and it's more stable. So the developer of Selenium understand that future of Selenium remote control is not so nice, and approximately in 2016 they merged it in WebDriver at all. So, or they just freeze this development and follow the new generation of automation tests, this WebDriver. So the next point, the WebDriver is our main point of discussion. So it's just a WebDriver simulate the work of our WebDriver that you communicate with. And nowadays it's a best tool to automate something. And the last point is Selenium Grid. It's some tool that give you opportunity to run your automation in cross-browsing. Selenium Grid have server side that control your test. You just create a lot of different setups when you want to run your automation tests in different browsers. Selenium Grid helps you with it. It works something similar as Kubernetes. It has some nodes that run your automation tests simultaneously with different configurations. So there is, you can see the Selenium IDE interface. That's just applications that give you some chance to record your steps and then maybe export it to your automation or something like that. Limitation of this IDE, I already mentioned it, that it's run test only in Firefox. It's like an extension for Firefox. Maybe nowadays it's more wide and you can use in every browser it. But the problem is that it have a low stack of some tools. Selenium RC, we already mentioned it, that is merged to our WebDriver. And talk about WebDriver. That mentioned that WebDriver is faster than Selenium RC because it has the simpler architecture. So as I mentioned, WebDriver directly talks to the browser, while Selenium RC communicate with server side, and they do some injection of your browser by using some JS code. And WebDriver use APIs that give you more concise effect than Selenium RC. So this is a scheme how Selenium WebDriver works. They just communicate with your browser and do what you want. So what we should know about this automation? To communicate with browser, we have some locating and how to locate to our elements, how to interact with our browser. So we have the list of methods how to communicate with our element in the page. So we use a wide range of options, like we can call our elements by their class name, class selector, by ID, by link text, and so on. I get from my knowledge, I use XPath selectors because I think it's more wide and give you the easiest way how to create your elements. So it's pre-built or predefined methods in our Selenium WebDriver that gives you opportunity to navigate in your browser. You just simply write this command, navigate forward or navigate back. You can easily move in your browser or refresh your page and so on. Let's speak about weights. In Selenium, there is two kinds of weights. It's implicit weights and explicit weights. Implicit weights use it for global weighting of some elements, and explicit weights, it's something specific when you want to click on elements, and if elements not appear yet, you can wait some time. So for this case, you use explicit wait. So Selenium give us a chance to check um, some state of our elements or our drop boxes, check boxes, radio buttons, and so on. So we can just simply use command is displayed, is selected, or is enabled, and understand if it's work correct. And for some alerts, we can use command switch to. If we have pop-ups or something like that, we can just use command switch to and provide some name of this pop-up, and it easily activate this window for you. And we speak about it already. So let's speak about TestNG framework. Why we should use it and what it is. TestNG is a testing framework inspired from JUnit, but it's more powerful than JUnit. We use TestNG to classify our tests, and it gives us a lot of benefits. You can run your test using TestNG and run it parallelly, and it gives us power of creating some reports. So now let's see in our example how the automation works. To start working with your automation, you just need choose any language that you want and do the preparing steps to start it. So in our case, we use programming language Java. So for starting your automation, you just need to download the Java kit, any version starting from 8 and earlier, or you can use, in our case, we use Java 11 version. So to start, we just need to create our POM file. It's file that create or set up your project. It downloads some resources and give you a chance to start. In our case, you just need to, it's predefined things, all that you need, add some dependencies. In our case, you just need to add these two dependencies. One of these is Selenium for Java and our TestNG framework. So, and now we can try to create our first test. For this, we need just create our driver to use. So it's pretty easy. You just need to write these things like WebDriver driver. It's our main driver, like Chrome or Firefox or any other browser, and then create new instance for it. And then we just navigate to the URL that we need. To show that it works cross browser. I show you the simple example how it works. So I show you this annotation created by TestNG, and it gives you a chance to run your test from your IDE without any problem. Just click on the play button and your test is started. So let's see. So we see our one browser started, it's Google, Firefox, and our next browser is Edge. So it started without any problem with our URL that we mentioned. So, and the next point, you can continue with your automation test from this point. It is the first that you need to know how to start this browser and then try to interact with it. You can close it now. So in the second example, I show you how to work with your browser. So in this case, we just start our Chrome driver and then interact with some fields in this area. So in this case, we just find our input field, search field, and enter some text on it. And then we just click on the search button. And in the third case, we verify if our result is the same as we want. So let's see how it works. So we can see that our test passed. So it meet our expectation without any problem. But there is one problem here, that if we need use all these steps not only one time, we need to think how to use it separately and in one place. So for these things and how best practice said us, better to separate your steps and your test in different area. So for this, we should create our page objects. So the same things that written here, we can create here. So and called some methods to it. So the same things, we enter search text, click to the button, and verify our results. So in our next test, we can see that the same steps reproduced here. And it looks better, and it's better to debug it, because if we have to simulate these steps again and then fix it, you should fix it twice, maybe more, and so on. But in this case, you have only one place where it's stored. So if the problem in this method, you just go to this method and fix the problem here, and it fixes it in all your cases. So it's provide you a more sustainable code. So we can see how it works. Here it's the same operation and previous test, but more clear and maybe more understandable for users. And maybe in the final report, you can find more understandable code here. So, and one more things, I show you how to debug your code in the on the go, let's say. So it's predefined option of any IDE, I think. You don't need to set up something or something like that. You just use it by built-in option. So you just put your mark here and go debug. So then we have this window to interact with our browser, and we have this field. So to find some element in your browser, you just use your debug console and find our elements. To find our elements, we just use simply option to inspect this field, and we can see that this is text area, and what we need, we should find the unique value of this field. So in this case, we have the title, and it's called search. Yeah, we just get it and find this element. In XPath, we use the double slash and use our area to find. In this case, it's text area. And then we use square brackets and this mark to locate to our element, and simply put our title with text. We can use double quotes, but better use to single quotes because it's better to our code. So we can just do the next things. We call our driver, then call find element. We can use the way how we interact with our browser. As I mentioned in this presentation, we can call the code by XPath, name, ID, class name, but for me, it's most suitable is XPath, and we already have the right selector. We just do the things. Let's say we need to enter some text. We just find the send keys and put the text what we want to add. Let's say it's our schemas, and we need to do it. And let's see. Oh, it's already written twice, but the effect is done, and you can do it in the real time. So if you want to write a full test, you can use this icon, looks like I don't know, calculator, and write your code here. So you can add another steps to your code. So in next steps, we just add our click to the button. But we need to know how to communicate with this button. So the same thing, we just inspect our element and find what we need. So in this case, we have the input field with some value. This value is unique, and in this case, we can use it like this. And this should be changed to input, and then add here. So, and just click evaluate, and what we see, voila, our test is working. So it's a good way how to spend less time to create your test, because in this case you already know if your code works or not. You don't need to run your code every time. You just create your test inside this debug session, and then if it works correct, you just create the already worked test. So I think that's all for today, and thank you. So you can ask some question about it. You're welcome.